Hey guys, it's Iskamar. We got some MMO news to cover today. One, Bluehole's Project W has been unveiled, and it is called Ascent Infinite Realms. And then we got NCSoft's new project that they were supposed to announce to talk about. First, I want to get into Ascent Infinite Realm and why I'm skeptical of this title, and it's not for the same reasons that other people are. Let me shrink myself down here because we're gonna go through this a little bit. A lot of people have been hating on the trailer, not because it doesn't look ambitious and doesn't have a lot. In fact, a lot of people have been praising, I guess, the scope of the project and how it looks. But a lot of people have been hating on it because the performance in the video looks bad and the FPS looks bad. But I actually have my own reservations, and so I just wanted to go through that real quick. If you haven't watched it yet, there's a link in the description. Go watch that real quick before you have me hopping around and chopping it up. But here we go. Let's get this volume a little down. So my problems with what I've seen so far, and this may not be this may not be everyone, but one, mechs. I don't quite like mechs and MMOs. Not thematically, it's not a problem for me. It's the type of gameplay problems they bring, and the only real experience I've had with like prominent mech gameplay was playing a game called Black Gold Online. They had mechs in there, and in the early game and early levels, mechs would basically one-shot players, and so in order to do anything, you needed to be in a mech, and that's just pretty fucking lame for me. Apparently, some of my guildmates who stuck it out, they said that later on players could kill mechs, but by then the game had already lost me. And so I think that when mechs are in a game, it brings about a certain type of gameplay dynamic that's hard to balance out. It's like, yeah, we want these mechs to be super fucking strong and powerful, but do we want them to make players useless unless they're in a mech? Do we want them to easily kill players? Does it make the skills and type of characters you're playing worthless? So that's one dynamic with mechs that kind of bothers me. This, look, it's like, what is this? I mean, there's just like all this shooting going all over the place. I mean, this part looks cool. You got some jumping shit. Okay, right here. Here's another thing. Okay, so we're fighting a monster. It looks all fine that she's some sort of dagger casting class, whatever. And then now she's just gonna pull out a Gatling gun and just just shooting. And that's just boring type gameplay to me. I mean, all this stuff looks visually cool, like all these different effects flying everywhere, but you gotta really put yourself in the moment and ask yourself, how is this gonna be gameplay wise? And that's the same thing with this. That's the same thing with this scene right here. Let's watch this real quick. So cool, you know, we're in these guns, we're firing at big monsters, there's this crazy battle going on all over the place. You know, that looks fine and dandy, but that reminds me of Guild Wars 2. I remember in Guild Wars 2 when we were getting the trailers and you see all this epic shit, but then you go into the world and you get into these fights and you have people in the guns and stuff, which looks cool in a trailer, but when you're actually the person who's sitting there in a gun and all you're doing is clicking a fucking gun at a big ass monster, this just, for me, that's not engaging gameplay. What I find compelling out of a good MMORPG is actually playing a fun and interesting class and utilizing that. I don't need extra layers of gameplay to where I'm manning. Don't get me wrong, that type of stuff can be used as a gimmick and can be used synergistically and layered in and used at times. Like, it needs to be used in the right amount. But when it's like a core gameplay mechanic that you see a lot throughout the game, which you see a lot of this type of stuff throughout the trailer, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, like, this looks really fucking cool. I mean, you got this huge ass monster, but how is the gameplay really gonna be? How is that gonna be fun? Okay, so we got some house building and shit. This is a moment to where you see someone like they're about to be casting some spells. It's one of the few moments we actually see some class type abilities. That reminds me of black gold looking gameplay right there. Just a dragon flying in the air and you're just moving around shooting them. Looks better, but... Now, I know some ship gameplay could be pretty cool, like flying around, shooting other enemy ships. I mean, that can have its own appeal to some people. Not necessarily my type. Now, see, this looks grand and epic. I mean, there's shit just flying everywhere. Like, it could be some big epic fight, but where... This is an MMORPG, or it's intended to be an MMORPG, so where do the classes fit in? Like, where does the class gameplay fit in? Are we going to board the enemy ship and then we're going to kill them? But what if they have mechs? Like this. What if they have mechs on there? Like, there is one glimpse that of players going and fighting what looks like a mech, and so maybe they are strong enough to right here. So they're going to jump on the ship, boarding the ship, and then there's a mech. But it looks like there's one mech to how many players? Like, look at this. I mean, yeah, looks cool, but look at that spam. That just spam shooting. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, and I want an MMO. I want a badass new MMO. Like, I'm dying for a badass new MMO, but this hasn't really showed any gameplay that's compelling to me as far on an MMO type level. Like, on an MMO RPG type level, where's the RPG type combat? So maybe we'll see more at G-Star later on this week, this next week. And so as far as NCSoft's code named A2, which if we look at this thread, there was a leak a while back showing NCSoft recruiting people for a AAA class PC MMORPG, and NCSoft was supposed to make an announcement. They were supposed to make an announcement this week, today. They were supposed to make a major announcement about one of their games, and I've been checking, been refreshing, been looking through been looking at all my different sources, and I have seen absolutely nothing. So what the fearful side of me is like, oh no, what did NCSoft announce? We got, which a lot of people were predicting that A2 would be Ion 2, and 4 days ago they released a trailer of Ion Tempest, which is a mobile MMO, and so some people are saying A2 is Ion Tempest, and I'd be pretty sad if that were the case. But again, if we look at this, sorry, getting myself away. We look at this. It's supposed to be a AAA class PC MMO, and I think NCSoft said this would be an MMO, which only leaves which could be that A2 is just the scrapped and rebranded Lineage Eternal, which is now going to be Project TL. So maybe A2 is just Project TL, and I hope that's not the case, because I want a big AAA. I want a big AAA classic MMORPG, not top-down isometric. Don't get me wrong, like some of these top-down isometric games look good. Lost Ark looks really good, and the Project TL could end up being good, but I just really want a third-person view MMO. So there's nothing for A2 yet. Maybe we'll see an announcement in the next couple of days, maybe at G-Star, hopefully, crossing finger, but nothing as of yet, so we shall see. Anyways, I just wanted to bring y'all this update. I hope y'all are having a wonderful weekend. If you enjoy these kind of updates, then subscribe to the channel. I will talk about and break down anything that I think is newsworthy or noteworthy. Anyways, that's it for the video. Y'all take care.